Good evening, classic rock fans, and I'd just like to go over some of the more interesting acquisitions I've made in terms of cartoon memorabilia over the past 10 years. I've been collecting a lot of different stuff. I'm going to try to keep it relevant to cartoons, but of course, there are going to be some detours, so bear with me. So first, I have this Nickelodeon hat from the Nick box. It's vintage. I think that's supposed to be that show that took place. Salute Your Shorts, the campfire. I could be wrong. It might just be a generic campfire logo. But next we have. So this is an actual children's book for beginning chapter books. Well, it's a play that was licensed by King of the Hill, strangely enough, despite it not being a children's show. The plot has to do with it's based on one episode where Connie wanted to join the wrestling team, and it's kind of funny. They describe Hank as having some unfair. He says he's pretty thoughtless and has some pretty unfair ideas because his ideas towards women being in wrestling are on PC. But yeah, I was a special ed paraeducator for a couple of years, and this was one of the books they used. I thought it was pretty funny to see King of the Hill in a. Then this is a book that Charles Schultz wrote. It's another comic strip that he did that before Peanuts, or it might have been around the same time that he started Peanuts. It's Christian themed because he was a at least at one point very religious Christian, and he wanted to do a comic about Christian teens. Um, this is Angelica's mom, Charlotte. They made from Rugrats. They made some action figures or dolls, I mean, of the adults from Rugrats in addition to the kids. So you have Stu, Drew, Charlotte, Dee Dee. Yeah, just really the Pickles families, and both grandpas, Lou and Boris, and Minka, Grandma Minka. But no Chaz, no Howard or Betty. So yeah, just really the Pickles family. Let me keep going. Um, then you have this is Beavis and Butthead mini comic. People have claimed it's rare. I don't think it's that rare. I have a lot of the other comics, but this is kind of a weird promotional one with them dealing catching frogs. Um, it's only like 16 pages long. It's pretty weird. Um, and this is a book signed by Harry Shearer, who does the voice of Mr. Burns, Flanders, Smithers, Skinner, etc. on The Simpsons, and he was also on Saturday Night Live and all the Spinal Tap movies. Christopher Guest, um, like Mighty Wind. But he signed it right here. It's autographed by him. The book's called Not Enough Indians. I've never actually, I think I've only read like 10 pages of it. It's not that intriguing, but here's a strange little unauthorized book called Behind Beavis and Butthead. Are they really cool or they're really jerks? It came out in 1993 at the start of Beavis and Butthead Mania on MTV. Um, it has some weird interviews with kids about the fire controversy, and it has some really bad jokes about Beavis and Butthead, like why did Beavis and Butthead, why were they jealous of Jeffrey Dahmer? because I saw him getting. He only has to reach into the fridge to grab a piece of ass, and then what's what do they think Magic Johnson's uh, nickname is an acronym for? My ass got infected, coach. I'm gonna get demonetized, even though I'm not monetized if I make jokes like that. Then there's World of Springfield action figures. You've probably seen a lot of these. They're not that rare, but they're nice to come upon. I'm only going to be, I have like 20 of them. I'm just going to be showing like the guest stars. So you have both of Phil Hartman's characters that were retired, Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure. Troy McClure, he has with him a couple little books or movies. Christmas Ape goes to summer camp from the Poochie episode, and then the can barely read this. The Wackiest Covered Wagon in the West. I don't think that's actually from the show, but uh, Herb Powell, voiced by Danny DeVito. I know people don't like him, and I mean they don't like Herb. And then this is Brad Goodman, kind of a random choice out of all of Albert Brooks's characters. They did make a Hank Scorpio one afterwards, but it's kind of odd that their first choice was to go with Brad. I wish I had the Hank one, but they didn't even make a Jocks one, which doesn't Jocks doesn't even make any sense because after Hank Scorpio, he's definitely the best known. Well, but then if you've seen the Simpsons episode with Hugo, the Thing, and I, fish heads, Rolly. Remember he sings that? That's from a song by Barnes and Barnes that was popular on the Dr. Demento show around the same time Weird Al got popular. This is an actual fish head shaped record that has a song Fish Heads on it, and along with some other songs like Work the Meat. But this is getting a little unrelated to cartoons, so Beavis and Butthead Reading Sucks. This is a collection. It was released in like 2005, around the time the Mike Judge collection DVDs came out. That has Encyclopedia, Ha Ha, Hooray for Hollywood. It doesn't. It has four of the books. It doesn't have This Book Sucks. The first one, I think, is that was kind of synonymous with the Crude Era, which Mike Judge disowned. But okay, this is getting really irrelevant. Wesley Willis and Sublime did a 7 inch together, a split 7 inch of Sublime song "All You Need" from Robin the Hood and Wesley Willis's "Get on the Bus" with the Wesley Willis fiasco. Um, I don't know. It has a coloring book theme. There was a coloring book contest. You could see somebody started to color it. But yeah, let me keep going. Yeah, this isn't necessarily relevant to cartoons, but it's relevant to Adult Swim. It's a, play of written, co-written by Tim Heidecker of Tim and Eric Awesome Show, Great Job, and Greg Turkington, who's Neil Hamburger. If you know that comic, that comedian who always makes jokes like, "Why did?" He always has that delivery. He's intentionally unfunny, but he's hilarious just because of how cringy he is. But yeah, Greg Turkington co-wrote this. It's called Bicycle Built for Two. It's from McSweeney's box. In case you know McSweeney's quarterly. Okay, I have a couple Dr. Katz tie-ins. Dr. Katz, professional therapist on Comedy Central. This one's called Me at a Glance. It has a bunch of little files that it's similar to those Family Guy tie-in books. Simpsons made some, but this is more reminiscent of the Family Guy ones for some reason. Uh, there's like a restraining order that Laura Silverman's character Dr. Katz's secretary is putting against Ben Katz, Dr. Katz's son, stuff like that, in different patient files. And then before I actually knew Dr. Katz was a show, there was a newspaper comic that came out. I remember it coming out on Sundays. It was every day, but I mostly remember it on Sundays. Uh, this is only a small collection, unfortunately, of the strips. I uploaded some of the other strips that I found on my spleen on my YouTube channel, but unfortunately, the complete comic series of Dr. Katz has never gotten a release and probably never will. Um, Moody Rudy is a character created by Art Clokey, the creator of Gumby. You can see why he wasn't as popular. Whenever guests come over, they ask, "Is that supposed to be Hitler?" It's not Hitler. It's not Saddam Hussein. It's not Clark Gable, or it's it's a strain. His eyes bulge out. His You can do weird things with his face. He's just he's a real cutie, according to the theme song for him. Um, and Beavis and Butthead, the history of Beavis and Butthead. This is a recalled DVD. People used to think it was extremely rare. I don't think it really is. Copies have shown up all the time. This one I got. I'm not going to say how much I got it for. $60. It has a lot of the first um, aired season of Beavis and Butthead is here in its entirety. So on disc one, you have Give Blood, Balloon, Door to Door, Yogurt's Cool, The Crush. I mean, some of these episodes, like The Crush, were on Mike Judge collection, but most of them, over half of the episodes on here, were never officially released on DVD. Some of them have finally gotten released on Paramount Plus since the second revival of the show. But yeah, this is and then lastly, Harold from Hey Arnold, Harold Berman. This is also from the Nick box. And then I realized I didn't have any Homestar Runner stuff yet. A few Homestar Runner characters that were available as action figures: the Poop Smith, the King of Town, and Homsar. Yeah, there were two sets. I only have the second set, but they're both out of print and no longer sold on their store. Yeah, so thanks for listening to all this. Glad I've gotten so many subscribers in the past year. Yeah, thanks.